you don't need to have a penny to your name. Just go and mingle and see what value you can add to people, because when you do that, people will help you. I'd hate for someone to look at my social media and think, I've got these properties and it's been easy and, it's been smooth sailing. It's not the case, right? There's actually trials and tribulations that occur. Anybody can do this, Anyone can do this, I feel.
Sometimes people are scared to take the risk. The fear of the unknown is the reason why people sometimes they'll go to courses and they've paid for it. They've not taken any action whatsoever, but they're paying for these courses. I think it's because they don't have a strong why. When you have a why that is so strong, you become so focused on your vision
100%,
and you are ready to go to war. So how did you manage to come off your 95, the process of buying that first property? Because I'm guessing you bought that house while you were still working.
Yes.
So how did you get to that stage?
So
welcome to another episode of Into Property. I'm your host, Moses Bright. I'm also the founder of Announce Property, where we help people to find their homes, buy their first home, and also invest in real estate. Now, in the studio today with me, I've got a young man. He's a young man. Now, this guy is in his early 30s and he's a full-time property investor. He's a good friend of mine, and we're going to have a conversation today just to talk about his journey. How did he leave the corporate world to become not a part-time, but to become a full-time investor? Nebiye, good to have you here, bro.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
How are you feeling today?
Feeling good. Feeling good.
You're looking good yourself.
I appreciate it. Likewise as well.
You're looking good.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming to the studio with me just to talk about your story. I'm super excited about what we have in store today for our viewers and our listeners. So let's talk about you. So tell us a bit about Nebiye. Who are you? Who's Nebiye?
Wow. So as you mentioned, in my early 30s, I'm 33 years old. So I'm originally from London. So I grew up in Highbury, in London. Come from Eritrean parents. So they came to the country in the 80s. During the war, and so grew up in London, and then I know we'll touch on it, how I came to Kent and whatnot, but grew up with my younger brother, younger sister as well. So we grew up in we had a good upbringing, but it was also like it was a strict upbringing as well that we had. So African parents.
Come on now.
Yeah, African parents. So, they instilled the, real Eritrean values into us, like, what they learned from their parents. And I'd say on the most part, it helped us quite a lot. And education was very important to us. So for me, I took education very seriously because my parents took it very seriously as well.
Okay.
So I, went to a good Catholic primary school, good Catholic secondary school, and then, did a degree in mathematics. I'm in London as well.
Nice.
And then I did a master's in mathematical finance.
Man, how did your brain handle that, man?
Bro.
Jeez, the maths alone.
Yeah. So for us, we have like a mathematical background. So my dad has always been very good at maths, but he didn't have the opportunities in Eritrea. So he knew the good fundamentals of mathematics, and he taught us that from young.
Okay.
So because we had that from young, me, my brother, my sister, we took that on, and we all did mathematical degrees as well.
All of you?
Yeah. So I did a degree in mathematics. My brother did a degree in economics with econometrics, and then my sister did a degree in mathematics as well.
How? Okay. So, how are you guys in the house? Because I can imagine all the equations. Like, I guess there was a bit of competition when they were you guys quite competitive?
Yes. I am very competitive. By the way.
The way even the energy,
bro,
when you said yes.
Like for me, I tried to be anything I put my mind to. I tried to be good at, and even as a kid, not just mathematics, right? Even if me and my brother playing like football, or we're playing basketball against each other. I'm making sure I'm trying to win. But my dad, he didn't like it. He was like, why are you so competitive against your brother? You guys should be enjoying, you guys should be having fun, but you're always trying to win. When he sees this back, he's gonna be laughing, I'm telling you. And but for me, I've just always had that competitive spirit, because like I say, whether it was even as a kid playing PlayStation, I'm trying to be the best at FIFA. I'm trying to be the best out of all my friends, you know. So yeah, I've just always had that. But yeah,
That's
I mean,
amazing.
Even, yeah.
That is very amazing because, but I feel like that competitiveness has also, and your background has actually also helped in your property investment journey, which we're gonna talk on that. But let's go back a little bit as well. You mentioned that your family had to relocate.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. So
Yes.
so your family are they're not from the UK, but
No.
they had to relocate to the UK from
Yep.
Eritrea, and then you were born here, but it looked like they instilled some of the cultural values in that. So how was your upbringing? Because you mentioned to me earlier on that back home in Eritrea, some of the young people they have to serve, So are you? I mean, how has that literally helped you, like growing up as a young man in London? What was that like for you?
So I think for me, on the most part, it was good because in our culture, you have to respect your parents highly. What they say is law. There's no two ways about it. And I think because of that, we made sure that because we grew up. So even though Highbury is known as an affluent area in London, but we grew up in Highbury Estates. So that area wasn't as affluent. It wasn't the worst area in London, but there was gangs and stuff around that.
Yeah.
But my parents made sure that we didn't even talk to them, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
If we were playing out, my parents would step out of the house and watch us play.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that we weren't mingling with people that we shouldn't have been. So that's how it was. So they made a point of, ensuring that we were doing what we should have been doing. So and what they also done as well is they made a point of making us go to like ice skating lessons, recording lessons, football lessons, all these different things, to make sure we were occupied, so we weren't doing things that we shouldn't have been doing. If that makes sense.
I guess that's just parents being protective.
Yes.
I mean, I'm a parent myself,
Yep.
so I guess you want to make sure, because of the area, you want to just ensure that your kids are being looked after, and you're keeping an eye on your kids as well. And we sometimes know what the kind of things that we hear in London. So from growing up in London, what was it like now? Going to college, then graduating, then doing a master's. You've done your master's, and before you did your master's, I do want to ask you, was the master's done because of your parents? Because a lot of the time, because obviously I'm originally from Nigeria, so there's that literally after university, I got a first class in business management.
Yeah.
And then uncles and friends and family were calling and say, okay, when is the master's? Even at one point, my mum was asking me about the master's. And I said, this first class got me some white hair. Do you want to add to it? Masters for what? And I just thought, why should I do masters?
Yep.
So why did you decide to do? Why did you decide to do your masters?
So I'll do my degree, and I was in my third year, and then I didn't have a job at that time. But in my third year, I was so focused on getting a good grade, so I ended up getting a 2-1. But it was in my third year that I got a first. But my first 2 years, I got a 2-2 in each year. And I knew that in my third year, I had to get right, So I worked very hard in my third year. Because I was working so hard, I didn't even have time to really apply for jobs. So my dad was looking at me and he was like, you've not got a job lined up, If you do a master's, I'll pay for it, is what he said to me. Yeah.
They'll fund it.
Yeah, that's what he said.
The whole thing?
He'll fund the masters, yeah. So he goes, you just pick what masters you want to do and I'll fund it. He goes, you haven't got a job right now. And I was like, okay, fine. So, then I was looking at the different degrees and I thought, masters, sorry. And I thought, I've already got a degree in mathematics. I don't know if there's a need to do a master's in mathematics as well, but I should do something related to that could help me get a good job in the workplace as well. So then I opted for mathematical finance. And I had a good friend as well that also did a degree in maths with me, doing the same masters. So I was like, you know what, cool, let me pick this. And then, my dad funded it.
Wow.
But let me tell you, that masters was difficult, bro.
I mean, 1 year.
It was 1 year masters, yeah.
And just, obviously, and I can imagine though, like, and obviously you knew dad was funding this.
Yes.
So you listen.
Yes.
African parent,
Yes.
funds your masters.
Yes.
God help you don't finish it. You don't complete it.
You know what made me think about? Like, during my masters,
Yeah.
I had friends, right? And I won't say who they are, but some of them, they got their masters funded for them by like, either it was like a university, not a scholarship, but like they got it funded for them, right? And they weren't taking it seriously. So like, I'll remember being in the mathematics building studying. They'll go to party, and they'll come back from the party, and I'm still there studying.
Wow.
But a lot of it, I say a big part of it was because my dad funded it. It wasn't cheap, you know. So my dad funded this masters. There's no way I cannot pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, no way, you know. And by God's grace, I did well in it. But yeah, I think knowing that my dad's hard-earned money, you know, my parents are very hard workers. So knowing my dad's hard-earned money went into that masters, I had no choice but to succeed.
Wow. Well, shout out to Dad. You know, when you see this, shout out to you. You know, because it's an investment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's an investment. When I know we're very big on education. You know, especially those from the African background. We're very, very big on it. So after your masters, did you now get yourself a job straight away?
Yeah. Yeah.
What field?
Banking. So
Okay.
yeah. So during my masters, I was like, okay, I can study, but I've got to apply for jobs now because he's not going to pay for another masters after this. Yeah. So yeah, during my masters year, I was applying for jobs quite aggressively, and then I was able to get a graduate job in Kent, but I was based in London. I was living in London
So you were commuting from London to Kent
for 3 years.
for 3 years?
Yeah.
Driving?
Nope, on the train. Yeah,
What, Monday to Friday?
Monday to Friday, every day.
Getting a train?
Getting the train
My goodness me.
So to tell you the commute, it'd be from Canonbury, which is near Highbury, in Islington, to Stratford. From Stratford,
A fast train.
fast train to Chatham, and then from Chatham, I would have to still walk another 30 minutes because the bank is near Dockside in Chatham.
Wow.
So from Chatham train station, I'm walking it there, and then I'm doing the same commute back as well.
Boy.
Yeah. But for me, I saw the long-term vision because for me, it was a good graduate job as well. You know, I knew in that bank I'd be able to climb the ranks pretty quickly as well, which I did.
Okay.
So, like, fortunately for me, I was like, you know, graduate jobs, they're not easy to come by as well, to be honest. And I think, to be fair, it's harder probably even now. But back then it was still a little bit difficult. So for me, when I saw a good graduate job and they had accepted, I said, yeah, I've got.
Nice.
Yeah.
Similar background though. After finishing my degree, my business management degree, I then obviously my last job, my last employment, it was also banking.
Okay.
And I was also looking to. My plan was actually to climb up the rank as well, but I am so glad I left it because after I left that, those roles became redundant. So you can imagine. So now you've done. So you obviously nice upbringing. You've now done your masters. You've graduated. You've got yourself a graduate job. You're commuting from London to Kent. So now let's get into it. How did you transition from banking into property?
That's a great question. So I would say I had an interest in property on some level, even in my teenage years. You know, and because I saw one or two uncles and aunties buying properties, and I saw the way they were doing it, and I was like, damn, you know. And I knew even at a young age it was a wealth builder, you know. So I knew that, and then when I started working after a few years as well, I knew also, listen, I've got to build something for myself, because, and I know we'll touch on this. You know, having a job is great, by the way. Being 9 to 5, especially if you enjoy it, it's great. I advocate for it, but I don't know if that should be the only thing you should rely on. So for me, I knew property was a vehicle where if I have properties, you know, I own them. You know, and in the UK they grow in time, in value. So I'd known that from a young age, you know. So I think seeing and I remember there was an auntie in the Eritrean community, and she bought like 4 or 5 properties in London, and she was advising all the other uncles and aunties to do the same.
So hold on a second, man. Slow your roll. 4 or 5 properties
in London.
In London,
and this was and I remember she was advising. a lot of people, but a lot of people were not taking her advice. She was telling people, you know, a lot of you guys have got one residential, it's gone up in value. Because them times, 20, 15 years ago, properties were flying in London in terms of value. You could release money and buy 2, 3 more. And there wasn't this stamp duty that we have now. So on additional properties, you could buy a lot. And she took advantage of that. And she was, fair play to her, she was advising every other uncle and auntie that she came across to do the same. You know, and I remember, I'm a kid though, so I'm just listening to this. I'm like, damn, like why people not listening to her, you know? So, and then she was able to like buy these properties, rent them out. And, you know, I remember over years that they were going up in value. And I was like, there's something here, you know? So I'd say from teenage years, I already had an interest in it. And then the older I got, you know, the more I knew that I wanted to get on the property ladder young. I wanted to buy properties young, build a portfolio young. Like this was always in my vision from young.
So now you've done that. So you were working in the bank and you already had this vision to grow your portfolio from a young age, which kudos to you. You've done. We're going to touch more on that. But what was the transition like? Because I'm asking this question because there's people people watching or listening who will come across this and be like, okay, I'm working right now. How do I come out of it? I want to do something with my life. I want to do something else. So how did you manage to come off your 9 to 5, which was bringing you an income? You know, tell us about the process of buying that first property, because I'm guessing you bought that house while you were still working.
Yes.
So how did you get to that stage?
Okay, so my residential.
Yes, your residential property.
So I've always been a saver. You know, like, you know, people that know me, they know. Oh man, in my teenage years, I would make the guys walk 20 minutes just to save 50p on the chicken and chips.
$1.99.
Yeah, honestly, I was like that. You know, not like I was frugal, like you know, but if I could save, I would save. That's me. You know, so I've been like that from young. You know, I like to budget because I believe you can budget and still enjoy your life. You know, so yeah, when it came to for 3 years when I got my job, I was saving pretty aggressively.
From when you got a job?
From when I had a job, for 3 years I was saving aggressively.
And you were living at home?
Yes, and commuting.
So you were living at home, commuting, but you were saving aggressively.
Yes.
Did you open like a ISA? How did you manage? How did you stay disciplined?
I think for me, I just wasn't spending a lot. That's how it was. Them times that, you know, now I have an ISA and stuff, but them times I didn't even have an ISA. It was just an account. I was getting paid and I was barely spending it. The majority of my funds was being spent on travel to work. You know, a lot of the rest of it, because I wasn't paying really anything at home. I wasn't paying any rent or anything like that. So I was able to save quite a lot of my income every single month for a few years. And then when it came to actually buying, my parents then came to me and said, you know, we've been saving on your behalf as well.
Wow.
So we will pay half the deposit for your first property. That's what they told me. I was like, wow. So I didn't actually know this. When I was ready to buy, I actually had the money to buy a property. But my parents were like, no, so like half of it, for the first property, we'll give you half the deposit. So I was like, wow, okay. So that means that I've got all this other savings I can use to kit out the property. I can still hold savings, things like that. So I was quite fortunate in that sense with my first property. Half of it, my parents gave to me as a deposit. And then I was able to use, obviously the other half was my savings. And then I had the other funds to make sure that the property was in good condition, the little repairs that was needed, the flooring. And then I still had savings as well.
Wow. So why did you decide to move to Kent?
So Kent at the time, this is 2017, properties were a lot more affordable then, I'd say. And there was no way I could buy it in London for the salary I was on. Right, I was on a decent salary. But I bought a 2-bed semi-detached in 2017 in Kent. Even in 2017, with the salary and savings I had, I couldn't buy a 2-bed semi-detached in London for one. And then also, so I thought, okay, that's one good reason. And then I'm going to be close to my workplace as well, walking distance. So those two benefits, for me, I was like, it makes sense.
So how did you go about, because obviously back then you didn't have a background, you didn't really have a background about real estate, nothing like that, but you just decided, I work in Kent, I'm going to buy my first home in Kent, obviously due to affordability as well. How did you go about like knowing what property to buy? Because obviously is you're smiling because you know what I do. You know what I do for a living. So how did you decide that, you know what, my first one wouldn't be a flat? Why did you choose a 2-bed semi-detached house over a terraced house or over a flat? How did you decide what type of property to buy?
So there's a few things. So taking counsel from my parents, they were like, "Oh, for your first property, get a freehold." They were saying that, and then also I was quite fortunate. I had good friends at the workplace that I worked in at the time. So they would give me advice. They give me advice about what areas to look for, what areas to avoid. We know certain areas that people say that you should avoid. So I think that there was an element of those things, and then also I would get advice from those that already, because there were some people that had already purchased residentials, right, that I was working with. So getting advice from them. Oh, what mortgage broker did you use? What solicitor did you use? Did you have a good experience? Okay, let me use them as well. So things like that. But a lot of it was from my parents though. They were like, yeah, you want to get a freehold for your first property, and we'll touch on leaseholds as well, because I've got a leasehold. We'll speak about that. But, and yeah, through that, that's what made my decision in terms of getting a freehold. Now, what made me get a semi-detached over a terrace?
Yes.
Well, I was actually looking at some terrace properties as well. But, they didn't, I got declined on a few offers, and then I got the 2-bed semi-detached, which I'm very grateful for, because...
When you say you got declined in a few offers, so you viewed the property,
yes,
you placed an offer,
yes,
and your offer was rejected.
Many a time. Many a time.
Which is the story of property.
Bro, many a time, many viewings I did, some of them even my parents had come from London to Kent to view with me. We'd view a property, it'd get declined the week after.
How did that make you feel? Whenever your offer was rejected, and I'm guessing it was on some properties that you actually wanted.
Yeah.
But then it was literally, no, fortunately, your offer has not been accepted. Yeah. Did you get emotionally discouraged? Because, people buy sometimes with emotion. How did you manage your emotions?
I think those times it was difficult, that, because with property, with me anyway, the first one was the most stressful one. Now it's like, I know the role, I know what happens, I can deal with it a little bit better. But then it was stressful. So, you go, you view it, you like it, you look at it, you think, okay, this is the one. You put an offer, it gets declined. You're like, damn, someone else took it, they made a better offer, whatever the case may be. Then you're like, wow, okay. And the same week, again and again. So I think to some level I got discouraged, but I had a good support system around me. My parents are very supportive. People that I worked with as well, because I had good friends at the first bank that I worked at. I had very good friends, so they would give me good advice as well. But yeah, no, it was tough. Like, to keep coming back from them rejections, it wasn't easy.
Yeah, and it's something that sometimes over the years I've seen people get very, very emotional, and sometimes because they've had quite a few offers rejected, they settle.
Yes.
They get emotionally attached to things. I'm getting that property. And then what tends to happen is that they tend to offer a higher price. So now they're going above their budget. So let's say the property was £300,000, for example.
Yep.
And yes, they know they can buy up to like 320, 325, but that's a stretch on the mortgage. Because they've been rejected a lot on the 290, 300. Yeah, let's go 325. Then they get the property, and then the mortgage is quite high. They're in the property, they've got the keys now, but it's like, man, this payment is not looking,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a bit too much for me.
Yeah.
So now for you, when did you now realize that, okay, I really need to push now? Because obviously you're getting offers rejected. How did you then move on to getting your offer accepted?
I remember being on Rightmove at work, that. And then seeing that property come up, and I was like, okay, this is like, it was funny enough, it was actually the top end of my budget, but it was the nicest one I'd seen out of all the properties I'd been viewing or putting offers in. It was the nicest one. So, and it was on offers in excess of 205. That's what I saw. I was like, okay, this is not bad. 2-bed semi-detached, and then I remember that road. I then spoke to my boss as well. I said, do you know this road? And he goes, yeah, that's actually a decent road in Gillingham. It's actually a good road. I was like, okay, cool. So I went in, had a look at it. I was like, okay, I've got to put in an offer. So then, I just put in an offer, and then they came back and they said they wanted $2,000 more. And then I was like, meet me in the middle. And then we accepted. So, yeah.
Simple as...
Yeah.
But was anything going through your mind when it came to location? Because obviously, I know you work, in Kent. You work in Gillingham, right? You're working in Gillingham.
I was working in Gillingham.
Yeah. What was going through your mind during this relocation process? Because now you're born and raised in London, but now you're leaving London to move all the way to Kent. Did you have, apart from your friends and stuff, did you have any family member
around here?
Yeah.
Kent? No.
So it was just you, just literally moving away from your parents' house and deciding, I'm just gonna start my life.
Yeah.
In Kent. What was that for you? What was that like for you, though?
So I'd say the buying process, I'd say, was stressful.
Why was it stressful for you?
Man, I think it was just the unknown, and it took quite a while. It took like nearly 5 months I remember, I think it was May that we had the offer accepted, and at the end of September they got the key. So, and where I've not done it before, I'm like, could something go wrong? Could they pull out the deal? There's so many things that I'm going through. So that was the most stressful property purchase I've done, of all these property purchases I've done.
This is your first.
My first one, 100%.
Your first residential home.
In terms of the buying process, it stressed me.
So would you say to our listeners, especially those who are first-time buyers or those who are aspiring to become homeowners, would you say buying property is stressful?
Yeah. I'd say so. I'd say it is. And the more you do it, like if you're someone that wants to continue to buy it again and again, it'll get easier for sure.
Yeah.
But it's stressful. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Nice. So you've not bought it now. So you've obviously, I'm guessing you did your research. You were working in the area, so you've not bought it.
Yes.
You've completed. But you must say there was that feeling of getting the keys.
Oh man, bro. Like I was young as well, and like I was 25. I got the keys to these two bed semi-detached. To me, it felt good, because it was like I was looking at it like, wow, like I did it. It's a nice house as well. So
now, kudos to you, man.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. So now let's now move, because now you're someone who bought your first property while you were working 9 to 5, and you now got your new home, you got the keys. How did you then transition from working full time? You've got your home, and then moving into property investment full time.
Okay.
What was that? Why take that leap?
Okay. So there was a long process leading up to that, right? So you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So one good thing that I did was, when I bought my first property, I'll tell people at work that I have an interest in property. So it was about just under 2 years after I bought my first property, a guy came to me and he goes, "Oh, Nebi, there's a networking event, in Sittingbourne. You should come. First time entry is free. Let's go." I'm like, all right, cool. I've never been to a networking event before.
This is a property networking event.
My first one. And on the day, he told me he can't come. This guy who's invited me.
So he invited you, but he couldn't.
He can't come. So he had something. It was like a house problem. They had an electrician, something.
Yeah.
He couldn't come. I'm like, wow, okay. So either I go by myself or I don't go, right? So I thought, let me go. I'm nervous because I've not been to one before, but I said to myself, I'm going to go. So I ended up going. Such a good event. So I've been going ever since. Property Millionaire Mastermind in Sittingbourne. Property Millionaire Mastermind, hosted by Sunil Poppet, who's a good friend of mine. So, and he made sure I felt accepted there as well. Because what he did was, because at this point in my mind, I've only got one property. I'm just a little boy here. That's how I'm feeling. And he was like, I think he even pointed me out in the crowd. He goes, "Oh, so what about you?" And I was like, "Oh, I've just got the one." He goes, "Oh, you got one though? Yeah, what? Here, you bought it? Yeah." Everyone give him a round of applause.
Nice.
I'm like, all right, cool. yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. And then at the event, you had to like mingle with everyone.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm just like going around talking to people. And then at the time I didn't know who she was, but now I know she was Sunil's sister. And I started speaking to her. She's an experienced property investor. And I remember I spoke to her and I told her, yeah, I'm overpaying on my mortgage. That's what I'm doing. She goes, "Why are you doing that?" She goes, why are you doing that? She goes, "You need to stop overpaying on your mortgage. And you need to release equity from your property if it's gone up in value. That's what you need to do." That's what she told me. And then they were talking about how, the legislation has recently come in that meant that you had to have your properties in a limited company, things like that. So this is my first event. I'm getting these gems. I don't know before this. I don't know nothing about limited company. I didn't really know much about releasing equity like that to buy more, and the fact that overpaying. You could have good debt and leverage it. So it was literally at this first event that I got that knowledge. After that event, I swear, a day or two, I stopped overpaying on my mortgage straight away.
Serious?
A day. I'm talking. I remember it was like a day or max two. After that event, I stopped overpaying on my mortgage. Yeah, I said I need to start saving. So I started saving, and then frustratingly, a few months after that, COVID happened. So for a year, so when COVID happened, I moved back to London with my parents for a few months, but then I was saving aggressively because
But okay, so you had your property,
Yes.
your residential.
Yeah.
But you moved back.
I just moved back
home.
Yeah.
And what happened to your house?
Oh, it was just sitting there.
Empty.
Yeah, empty.
You're paying the mortgage on the property.
Yes.
So you stopped. So you stopped overpaying.
I stopped overpaying. Yeah.
On the mortgage.
Yeah.
COVID hit.
Yes.
And then you moved back home.
Yeah, because what I thought was either I'm going to live here on my own, yeah, and then I've got no contact with nobody, right? Or I can move with my parents, and the only thing I pay is the mortgage over there. I won't pay for nothing else. Food and everything else is.
But you got the bills to pay though. How'd you deal with that? The council tax, the water, gas, electricity.
So it was minimal because I wasn't living in the property for a few months. So literally council tax and the mortgage, which wasn't that much then because I hadn't released any equity back then. So it wasn't that much. And since then as well, I'd moved jobs as well. So I was on a higher salary, and then I was working remotely at home because of COVID. So in that time, I was saving so aggressively. In those few months where I was living at home, with my parents, and then the back end of 2020, I moved back to Kent, and then the beginning of 2021, I released equity for my residential.
Nice.
So now I've released some equity. I've been saving as well. So now I'm like, okay, I'm ready to buy a buy-to-let. That's how I'm feeling. I'm ready. So, and then I set up a limited company, and then now I'm searching. So, but this is where it gets interesting. I was searching, and this is why I like talking on this, because so people understand that, if I'd hate for someone to look at my social media and think, I've got these properties and it's been easy and, it's been smooth sailing and whatever. It's not the case, right? There's actually trials and tribulations that occur.
Of course.
And what I had as well. For a year and a half, I was searching for a buy-to-let. I was going up and down Swale, Medway, Strood, Rochester, Chatham, Gillingham, Raynham, Sittingbourne, Sheerness.
Just looking for the right deal.
And I'm getting rejected left, right and centre for a year and a half, But I was only focusing on freeholds.
Okay.
So I was like, no, I'm not buying no leasehold, And then after a year and a half, I met up, there was a lady I got connected to, and then she introduced me to an estate agent owner. So me and him got speaking. He told me, look, I get it, you want to buy freeholds, but he goes, even with me, he's got a big property portfolio, but he goes, I started out with a leasehold and then I built from there. Sometimes you just have to start. That's what he told me. And in hindsight, he was right. So he goes, there's a 2-bed flat here. It's up for this amount. And then I got to know his guys as well, and then I was able to get it for a little bit less than that. So I put an offer and I got it. So I got 2-bed flat, and then had tenants in there.
So you bought the 2-bed flat with tenants.
No. So I bought a 2-bed flat and then put tenants in there. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
So through that same estate agent.
Yes.
Then I got them to manage it, and then they was able to get me some good tenants who have been in there for the last 2.5 years.
So this is a 2-bedroom flat.
2-bedroom flat in Gillingham as well.
And a freehold.
No, that's a leasehold. It's a 2-bed flat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you've now, because I like the built up. So because you've got portfolio now. So because you are a portfolio landlord.
Yeah.
So you've got your home. Mm-hmm. You found it stressful at first.
Oh yes.
And then you had to. It took you a year and a year and a half to find the next one.
Yes.
To find your first buy to let.
When I started looking, yeah.
So when did you decide what strategy to go with? Because obviously there are different property strategies. Yeah. There's buy-to-let, there's BRRs, there's HMOs, there's rent-to-rent. So how did you decide which strategy to go with?
I think for me, I wanted my first investment property to be basic, quite safe, and simple. That was my thing. But what I didn't want to do is try something that could potentially go wrong, and then it destroys my confidence, and then I don't want to invest in property no more, right? But buy-to-let does get a lot of bad rep at this point and this time.
I was going to say that. But buy-to-let is dead.
But I don't think it's dead, to be honest.
Why?
For me, you have to. There's so many different things. You have to look at supply and demand in this country for one, right? You know, demand is always beating supply, so there's always going to be people that need housing, right? You know, also with buy-to-let, you don't have to pay for the bills. You know, without some of these other strategies, you're responsible for those bills. If you get a good tenant in there, you know, yes, there's, you know, new legislation that got to come in, but if you have a trusted good tenant, have a good relationship with that tenant, then I can't see how it's dead. Now, if you're not doing your research when you're buying in an area, then yeah, you might buy a bad investment. But is that because buy-to-let is dead, or you just didn't choose a good area to invest in? So we have to look at that, you know, and we'll come on to why I then invested in deal after. But but so I think in saying that, I don't think buy-to-let is dead. I think it's harder now than what it was. Interest rates are higher, you know, and obviously with you know, the renters reform bill coming in as well, it makes it a bit more challenging. But I don't think because of that it makes it dead. No.
Okay, so let's now move to your next investment property.
Yes.
You know, because you didn't stop.
No.
You literally got the home, investment property. You went. I mean, there was some challenges you faced, which you shared, but then you were like, okay, I'm going to keep going. So how did you then move to the next one, and how did you raise finance for the next one?
So what I did was, so in this time I've been searching for a year and a half, right? And then it took like another 5 months for it to complete my buy-to-let. Now it's been 2 years, and in that 2 years, property prices have increased like crazy. So my residential that I pulled out a little bit of money at the beginning, I can now pull out a lot more. So I pulled out double what I pulled out the first time from my residential.
So this is now having 2 mortgages.
Yeah, 2 mortgages on top of my additional, on top of my main mortgage, right?
You went to a property me, you were like, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go full force.
Yes, yeah. Because the way I see it as well, there's good debt and there's bad debt, right? So if I release funds and now there's debt on that property, that debt is not going to increase, right? Provided, let's say I stop releasing equity, that debt is not going to increase. In fact, it will decrease over time due to inflation.
Correct.
So, you know, but everything else, property prices generally increase. Rents, we know over time increase as well, but the debt doesn't. It actually decreases with inflation. So, you know, that it made sense to me when I spoke to people about it, right? Even at that networking event and then after as well. So, so I was able to release funds. And then the funny thing is, initially what I was going to do was a BRRR project in Kent. That was my plan.
Okay.
You know, and then I remember though, one thing as well, with my first buy-to-let, once I got it, I felt like an investor. Like I literally felt like, I kept going to networking events, like, yeah, I'm an investor too, you know. That's how I feel. Even though I tell people, you should feel confident regardless. You can have 0 properties, go to networking events. It's what I tell people. Yeah. So I'm not even saying this is good that I felt like that. It just what it was. When I got my first investment property, I felt like I belonged in these events. Yeah. You know, but people should, I tell people, listen, you don't need to have a penny to your name. Just go and mingle and see what value you can add to people. Because when you do that, people will help you, you know? So what I did was, I started meeting people as well. And there was this guy, and he was buying blocks of flats that I knew. So, and he even said to me, how comes you bought a leasehold? You know, because he's buying freehold blocks of flats, right?
Is this from another networking event?
Same networking event. Yeah, Property Millionaire Mastermind. Yeah. So, because then I was going there now every month now, meeting people. So, and he's buying blocks of flats, and I'm like, and then he invited me to his house, and I met other investors as well. They're buying blocks of flats. I'm like, there's something here, you know. Yeah, and then I learned about how to, you know, how to analyze for blocks of flats. Because surprisingly, not many people actually know how to analyze it. You know that, like actually how to find blocks of flats, even on Rightmove. It's not that difficult once you know. So then once I had enough conversations with him and everyone there, I decided, no, this is gonna be my strategy. I'm gonna buy a block of flats. And then what I did was, I was like, you know what? If I want to buy a good block of flats and still have savings left over, I might have to do a joint venture here. That's what I was thinking. So I turned to my younger brother and I spoke to him. I said, look, do you want to come together on this? Do you want to buy blocks of flats together? And it didn't need convincing. He was like, yeah, cool. You know, he was like, yeah, let's do it. So from there, we went hunting. So, but we're looking up north now.
Yeah.
So I've got my 2 here in Gillingham. Now I'm looking up north, and I'm not caring too much about like how far it is from where I live, nothing like that. So then I came across the block of 4 flats in Doncaster. I'm thinking, all right, cool. Like it needed there was a little bit of damp, a little bit of issues, but I thought it's good rent is coming in here, so let me put in an offer. So I put in an offer, and then eventually we was able to agree on an offer. It got accepted, and then we got it. We had a lender. They had a surveyor go in. Surveyor looked at it, zero value. I said, "Wow, okay."
Welcome to property investment.
Yeah, I was like, okay, now I've arrived.
You thought you were going through stress while you bought your first residential,
bro.
your buy-to-let. Now, welcome to property investment.
Exactly, yeah. I was like, okay, so this is what it's about. And the thing is as well, I even had a gut feeling that something was going to go wrong with this property. And let me tell you why. Because when we were looking for block of flats, that was the first one we saw and it got accepted. And I know that you have to go through certain trials to actually get something good, you know. And I was like, nah, this has come too easy. I even felt it in my gut. Do you know that? It felt like it come too easy. Something, you know. So so we got zero value. To be fair, that surveyor didn't even give us a proper reason. But then I was like, okay, let's use another lender.
Yeah.
Same thing, zero value. But they actually gave real reasons. They were like, there's structural issues here. There's cracks. There's damp. You know, the roof is a mess. You know, so then we had to pull out the deal, and we lost thousands of pounds.
So you already started the process of you. I'm guessing you've instructed solicitors. You've paid for surveys. So it's been costing you money.
Yes. Yeah.
So because sometimes when people are buying properties, people just sometimes think property investment is just find property, buy, get a tenant in there. How do I put it? There are things that, irrespective of the plans in place, there's some things you can't predict. You can't predict what a valuer will value the property.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why you can't be emotionally attached to these things. You just can't.
Yeah, it's hard, but you can't.
Of course, it's hard. I've lost money before. I've tried to buy property and it fell through, but I've already invested in, again, thousands. But I just like, okay, cool, next one. So and that's the problem you faced. And you know, how did your brother deal with it?
You know, with my brother, I think because he knew I had more knowledge than him. So, and I said to him, listen, bro, this is God's plan. That's what I told him. That's what I said to him. I said, this is God's plan. There's a reason why we've not got this deal. And he was like, yeah, no, you're right. You know, and I said, because nothing good happens like that. Like you have to go through something to get it. That's the thing. And then I even knew that as well. So he was like, yeah, cool. So my brother was cool because he just trusted my judgment. You know, so I think me and my brother are very close as well. Yeah. So when I give him counsel, he listens.
So now, what was the outcome after that? Now, when you put out the deal, was it now back to the search board?
Again. Yeah, we're back again. There's no time to cry. There's no time to cry. Yeah, so we were back at it again. So the looking, and then we came across the block of flats in Halifax. And I remember when I saw it, I sent it to, so you know the guys that also buy blocks of flats? Yes. I sent it to them. So there was another guy as well, I should have mentioned. I met him at the Kent Property Meet. So that's another really good property networking event.
Yeah, shout out to Kent Property Meet.
Yes.
I go there as well.
Yes, you go there as well.
Part of a group as well.
Of course.
Amazing.
Yes.
I know, I must say though, one of the amazing group I've been part of, it's just where people are just eager, like just people just want to help.
Yes. Honestly,
there's real conversations in there. You know, I've been part of some networking events in the past, but this is where people really. I like it because it's not about I know more than you, I'm bigger than you. It's you get some of the OGs, you know, who come and share. It's just people are just happy to help, and I think that's why when you get involved in property, it's so important to be part of a network. Yeah. Like it is so important because now you get people who will also you have people who will also like encourage you. So you've just gone through the struggle now, you've lost this deal and you're thinking, let's go again.
Yep.
Would you say that's because of your why?
Yes, I think so.
What was your why?
For me, you know what? I say there's that two. I had two reasons. So one was like building something for me and my family, right? But even more than that is that showing others, especially my community, that can be done as well. So I think it's more the latter actually than the former. You know, because in my community, I wouldn't say like property investing is that common, especially amongst us young people. So for me, it's okay. I know if people they see me and they're like, okay, maybe he looks like me. he's buying these properties, I can do it as well. Maybe I can buy this property over here. And, you know, and it's all like a momentum. You buy one and then you feel like you can buy the second one, third one. So I think it's more about my why comes from actually wanting others to also do the same as well. So it's not just about me building wealth. Yeah, that's nice. But, you know, for me, it's not just about me getting rich, right? It's about actually showing others that, you know, you can do this as well. You know, and if I can do it and show it on social media and show how it's done, then others can look at that and say, actually, I can do this as well. So I think for me, it was that, you know, because I think when you become successful, you inspire others to do the same.
Yeah, because you run an amazing YouTube channel.
Appreciate you.
As well. So which it's just the things you share on there, and you can tell these are things coming from your heart. It's just you're sharing your journey, you're sharing your experience, you know, and you know you're not sugarcoating things.
No.
You know what I mean? Because it can be easily done, but you're not here to say, oh, I got this property, no. It's like you're actually saying, well, this is what I went through.
Yeah.
This is how I lost money.
Yeah.
Because it's not everyone wants to talk about how they've lost money.
Yeah.
Especially on social media. When a deal falls through, we know what it's like.
Yeah.
when you get an email and it comes through, and or you get a phone call saying, unfortunately, your offer has not been accepted. And you're thinking, man, I've done the numbers work on this one. This is a juicy deal.
Yeah.
But then you move on. Would you also say that your faith plays a role
100%
in what you do?
100%. You know, I'm a Christian, as you know, and for me, I believe in God through and through. And I say this all the time. Without faith, I couldn't do it, because faith is like it's believing in the future that you can't see. Sometimes that's what it is to me, in a sense. So if I don't have that faith that, you know, this will work out and this will happen and it will occur in the right time, then, you know, I couldn't do it. So faith is 100%. Yeah, it's everything.
Wow. So how did you now move towards from that property not going through? How did you then acquire the next one?
Yeah. So with that block of flats in Halifax, I saw it, and then I remember, because I'm gonna give people some game here. So with the block of flats, what makes it a good deal is two things. It's one is good rental yield, and then two, it's individually those, you know, the comparables to those flats. If you sum it up, is it worth a lot more than what you're gonna buy it for? Yeah. I was like, okay, cool. So when I saw these flats, the flats in the area were going for good prices. So I was like, okay, cool. So with that, you know, I saw, like, when I was, you know, I'm happy to talk numbers, you know, when I was summing it all up together, it was like $500,000. Right? So I'm like, you know, if we split these flats, we could get around the $500,000 mark, right? So and then when I spoke to my mortgage broker, he also mentioned, like, oh, this is a great block of flats, because he's an investor as well.
So how many blocks?
Four flats.
There's one beds.
So no, one is a one bed, two are two beds with en suites, and then we've got a duplex 3 bed as well. Yeah, it comes with a nice bit of land as well. So we might even do something with the land.
So there's scope to develop.
Potentially, there's quite a lot of land there as well. So yeah, you know, it's getting good rents. But then when I saw those comparables, I said, yeah, like, you know, this makes sense. So, and then when I sent it to the other guys as well that invest in blocks of flats, they were like, oh, this is unreal. They even said, are you sure there's not, like, are we missing something here? That's what they said, because it looked so good. But so then we went to view it. It looked good. You know, each of the flats looked quite modern as well, you know. And then, yeah, from there, we, you know, put in an offer and we got it agreed at 340, 250, you know, 340,000, £250. Yeah.
And did you spend money doing it up?
No.
So you just
all four were tenanted out anyway as we bought it.
So literally, from day one, you were making money.
Day one, we were cash flowing.
Literally cash flow.
Cash flowing.
That's what we call the cash cow, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah, cash flowing. And then what we're looking to, because we got it on a 2-year fixed mortgage, and then the plan is we're looking to title split like back end of this year. Okay. So because we finished that deal a year and a bit ago. So it's coming up to the end of the 2-year term. Yeah. And then we'll work with my mortgage broker, architects, solicitors, and then that's the plan for the next couple of months.
You're gonna keep?
Oh, yeah. But I'm trying to buy, hold. That's my thing. I'm not trying to sell right now. For me, there's no need to sell. Okay. So for me, it's about I'll refinance, of course. You know, at LTV, that makes sense. You know, but yeah, by God's grace, hopefully, you know, we're able to refinance at a good price, and then take a lot of our money out, and then me and my brother can use those funds to buy more as well.
Nice. And how is it like working with your brother?
Oh, great. Yeah, he's my guy.
Nice.
Yeah, he's my guy. He'll be seeing this and he'll be like,
Shout out to your brother.
Yeah, shout out Fernand. Come on.
So what's the plan going forward then?
For me,
Yeah.
right now. So currently I'm working on a deal. So, but that's going through its early stages at the moment.
Nice.
So hopefully in the next couple of months I'll be able to talk more on it.
Yeah.
But again, that's up north as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, doing that. I'm helping out newbies as well, right? So people that are looking to buy their first property, buy their first investment property. So I'm helping them, giving them guidance as well.
Nice.
And yeah, in addition to that, just trying to provide as much value and info as possible on my YouTube, on my social media, so Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn as well.
Yeah.
Just trying to give as much value as possible to people so that people know that, this isn't just, you don't need to be this exceptional person to do this. Anybody can do this, anyone can do this, I feel.
That's actually the aim of this. That was one of the reasons why I decided to, start this podcast, because I wanted to show that everyday people can achieve amazing results. Because sometimes property is seen like it's just for a certain people, and then when people become this big investor, there's this, reputation. Like, okay, that's I've got like £6 million portfolio, I've got £10 million portfolio, I've got £20 million portfolio. There's nothing wrong with that, but we want to show people that you can do it.
Yes, yeah.
Like you can do it.
Yes.
Because sometimes people are scared to take the risk. I think the fear of the unknown is the reason why people sometimes they'll go to courses. We were having that conversation before we started.
Yes,
how
yeah.
We've seen people who they've been to this course and then they've gone to another property course and they've paid for it, but they've not taken any action whatsoever. But they're paying for these courses, because I think it's because they don't have a strong why.
Yeah.
Because when you have a why that is so strong, it keeps you like focused.
Yes.
You become so focused on your vision.
100%.
And you are ready to go to war.
Yes.
Because property investment is great, it's fun, there's risk, but there are also struggles.
Yes.
Like it comes with a lot of
100%.
like struggles as well. There's times where things don't go right, and you just have to manage it. You have to. I think it's by having that investor resilience.
Yep.
Having investor resilience. So I mean, your story is amazing, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
You're not even 35 yet.
I'm 33, bro.
33. You know what I mean? You're 33 and you've bought your first home and you've got your portfolio landlord now. You've got all these properties and you're not stopping. You're still going. And I think the thing I want to commend you on as well is the fact that you are now reaching out to help more people. I think that's a good place to be.
100%.
When you've done something and it's worked for you, you decide, you're mentoring people. And I said the post on LinkedIn and I mean the YouTube. Tell us about the YouTube channel quickly. What actually inspired you to start that YouTube channel? Because that's a brave thing to do, to start creating content.
Yeah, I think. Do you know what? I think for years I've always admired people that had their YouTube channel, and I was like, wow. And I'd look at them as very brave. Like, wow, you're actually able to authentically just talk about whatever it is you're doing, not even property, whatever it is. So I think for me, it came a point I was like, I've got to start. Now I was also fortunate. I say fortunate, I think you make your own fortune as well, to be honest. What I did when it came to the block of 4 flats, when I purchased that and I completed everything, I actually had a videographer come in to film and whatnot. And I said to him, do you know what? As well as filming, can you also film a YouTube video as well? So we filmed a YouTube video, and I knew now if I post that YouTube video, I have to keep posting after. Mm-hmm. So that got posted, and then from there I had to buy a mic. I had to get ready.
Yes,
that's it. So sometimes you have to force yourself. So I think I'd always known that because property is my passion. You can see it in my videos, how I talk here. I love it. So for me, it's like YouTube's a great platform to talk about what you love, right? So and I know it will inspire people, all types of people in my community, outside of my community. I don't know, if you're a human being, you're in the community, right? So and for me, it's like I feel if I'm talking about what I'm doing and it's helping somebody, I'm providing a service, right? And I'm helping others, which is what it's about.
Absolutely. And I'm sure your parents are super proud as well, man, because, I'm sure that is like that money that I paid for his masters, that didn't go to waste.
No, I'm pretty sure he is. You know, my dad is he's a typical African dad, so he won't just openly be like, you know, that, you know, son, I'm so proud of you. He won't say that, but
of course.
I think inside he probably
But
feels it.
they see stuff. And
yeah,
honestly, but kudos to you, because your portfolio is what over like 6 million or so, your portfolio.
So my property portfolio, so my 6 properties. So I mean, I'm looking to buy properties now. So I'll be hitting the million mark. Yeah.
So my apologies.
Yeah.
Million mark.
Yeah. I thought you meant when you said 6, you mean the 6 properties.
Sorry,
6 properties, what you meant.
yeah.
Yeah. And then I should be hitting I should be a property millionaire in the next few months.
You've done well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not. So it's not a sprint.
No, it's not.
It's a marathon. So I want to just say thank you so much for coming to share your story. It's been inspirational. But what is something you would like to share to our audience, for someone out there who's probably thinking of either buying their first home and they're just thinking, I don't even know how to start, or someone who actually wants to go into property investment? What can you share just to encourage them?
The first thing I'll say is that just know you can do it. Like, you know, if another human being can do it, you can do it as well. And then from there, I would say, go to networking events. No matter where you are, I'm sure there'll be some events near you. Go to these property networking events, mingle with people, get to know people, see what value you can add. Because yes, you might not have any properties, but you might know something that could help someone. You know, when I was becoming friends with that guy that had blocks of flats, I said to him, listen, next time you go viewing properties, can I come with you and I'll pay you? That's what I told him. I said, I'll pay you, no problem. Let me just go with you.
But not a lot of people want to do that though. Not a lot of people want to see value of. Not a lot of people want to pay.
Yeah.
For knowledge.
And if you don't pay, then it's like, how are you going to get the knowledge? You have to ask yourself. Yes, you know, watching YouTube videos and things like that, that's great. But ultimately, that's not like, you need it tailored to you and your circumstances and your situation, right? And when little nuanced things happen, how are you going to navigate through that? You have to ask yourself these things. So sometimes, in certain instances, you have to pay to play. Now, not in all instances. You don't want to be the person that's going from event, like we mentioned, course to course to course to course. You pay, you're not taking action. Because all that money, you could have actually bought a property, right? You know, you want to be selective, but go to events. And if you can get the right mentorship as well, you know, invest in the right mentorship, because the right mentor can get you to a goal a lot faster than you can get there.
Yeah. So where can people find you on your social media?
So if you type in Nebiye Properties, so Nebiye, Nebiye, Properties Underway, you'll find me on Instagram. TikTok's Nebiye Properties. If you type in Nebiye Property into YouTube, I'll come up. So again, Nebiye. And then if you want to add me on LinkedIn as well, Nebiye again, Nebiye. And my last name's Habte, so Habte.
Man, it's been such an amazing experience having you here, man.
I appreciate
just
it.
your
Thank
story is in, and I'm sure those in their 20s and their 30s and anyone who's been listening to this have definitely been inspired from how you bought your first house. Bought your first house commuting from London to Kent. Bought your first house, went to an event. Someone told you something, and that just ignited a spark in you, and it's like you decide, you know what, I can do this. And that belief in yourself, literally just believing that, you know what, if they can do it, if I give it a go and I put my mind into it, have faith, I can get it done.
That's it.
And now you just grow in the portfolio. Proud of you, man. Thank you.
Moses.
And obviously looking forward to more things, you know, looking forward to you, doing more greater things. And hopefully we get to get you back here.
100%.
You know?
And I wanna thank you as well. You know, I've been following you for a while as well.
Thank you, man.
You know, I've seen all the great things you've done as well. You know, and you're actually one of the people that inspire me. So,
thank you, man. Appreciate it, man.
It's an honor to even be here and have this conversation with you. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, if you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow us and also hit the bell icon so that when we release another episode like this, you are notified. And I hope you've been inspired by this episode. You've been inspired by Nebiye's story. So what stood out for you in this episode? Let's see your comments. Until next time, believe it's possible.